strategies, you have the mines. The only issue for Drunken Boy really is that he has to have some window to take an expansion. But really, you just sort of see how your Hellbat production's going, and then you just halt all production and build a command center. It's almost a messy timing, but given how much damage that attack can do, it's a great one.
That is very, very true indeed, is it not? So, we're just trying to get the lobby back up again. Again, we're running into these problems, unfortunately, with the lobby today, where we're dropping people left and right, so this is actually causing more downtime than we would like. So, big apology for that. I will go into some music as we bring our foreign language commentators in, and then we'll get started. You are watching SHOUTcraft America, Game 2 of Drunken Boy vs. Neve, coming up very shortly. Alright, ladies and gents, sorry about the delay. Once again, we've had lobby problems today, which is causing significant downtime. But we're going to the next game. Akelon Waste, Drunken Boy vs. Neve. We've already talked about it. Let's just get into it right now. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I agree, Totalbiscuit.
Get right in there.
I'm hoping that we see the same level of aggression this game as we did last game. Certainly, I'd like to see a little bit more defense from Neve, because I think that having seen some of his games, he really does have some great plays in him. But, if Drunken Boy gets that sort of aggression in there again, then could be yet another short game.
I'm still in that build. You know what my win rate for TBT has been this ladder season, Sean?
Do share, Totalbiscuit.
0%. I have lost every TBT. And I think if I use Drunken Boy's build, that will rapidly change.
It's really easy to execute, too. It's a fantastic and straightforward build.
It's looking good. Yeah, I want to steal it. Okay. Second game, folks. Here we go. Down to the southeast position on Akalon Wastes in the Blue Trunks playing tear, and it is
FXO Neeb.
Looking to try and catch up in this game. An unfortunate... I wouldn't even say build order loss. It was unfortunate, but at the end of the day, his build order did get shut down pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of decisions that you have to make in order to properly defend against it that go against the grain of the Fast Banshee play. You have to play defensively with Fast Banshees. Very, very odd.
And his opponent, up to the northwest position, currently at 1 game in this best-of-3 series, looking for the grand prize of having to fight Gosu User. Who the hell would want that? We'll find out, folks. He is...
FXO Drunken Boy.
Alright, let's see what's coming out. So, we've got a slightly earlier gas there for Neeb. He's getting his barracks down at the appropriate time as well, so nothing particularly out of the ordinary there. It was barracks, of course, before refinery this time, so we're seeing an alteration of the build here.
Seems fairly reasonable. This is a map where it's very common to go for Reaper expand on. With all the high ground, low ground, it's difficult to just get from A to B anyways, but the Reaper sort of deals with that issue.
Yep. Drunken Boy's gonna make his way in, and he's gonna see what he needs to see. There's no real way of preventing that. It's too small a map. It is, of course, a 2-player map, so you have to build with that in mind, but it also means you can trap your opponent if you like. And a nice little hop, skip, and a jump there. The random worker AI, which always gets my workers killed, is now playing in the favor of Neeb, which is always nice. And Drunken Boy's, of course, going to try and hide in the corner, but that's immediately going to be hunted down. It depends, though. Neeb might elect just go straight across the map and then build a marine afterwards to clean that up.
Ooh, this is a nice Drunken Boy. Or Neeb spots that Drunken Boy did build a marine, so this is a very, very easy opportunity to know, okay, I'm not up against Reapers. I know I'm going to be up against Factory. Or Expand. Or Cheese, but, you know, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a Factory play in this map.
Reaper, I think honestly these guys have a little bit of post-traumatic stress syndrome. They used to be the guys that could really slaughter workers, and as a result, because they can't really do that anymore, they'll take every possible opportunity to do it. So the Reaper heads back up into the corner of the base to kill a worker before heading across the map, and is now satisfied. The Reaper got a kill, which is a rare thing to see. Now, let's see what we can find out going in, says that Reaper. What on earth is going to be going on here? Going to hop on up, and he is going to get shot in the face. It's not going to be so pleasant. But the thing is, he can pick at these units. That's the cool thing about the Reaper is, as long as he doesn't lose it, he is going to be able to regenerate that health, and with no medevacs out, of course, at this stage, you're not going to be seeing that. Neeb's actually going double Reaper. Alright, this is fancy right here from Neeb. We don't see this all that often. But we do have double Reaper coming out, and this might work out. There's already 2 Reapers. There is a Hellion, but if you get enough Reapers, that actually ceases to be a factor. And Drunken Boy is trying to tech up. He is trying to get that starport. He is trying to get rolling in that regard. The Hellions are a good choice because you can repair them. You can't repair Marines, of course, not without a medevac, but the Hellions you can repair, so you're going to be in a situation where they're not going to be that good. But we will see that pushed back quite effectively. Not really sure what ended up going on there with that, but... Oh, down goes a Hellion. Nicely done. Neeb is trying his best to pick this up, but I think, honestly, there's too many units here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of situation where Neeb really kind of wishes he had some other composition of units, because the Reapers only kind of have an implicit threat. I can counterattack and sort of poke at your SCVs, but I mean, looking at Drunken Boy's main base, he doesn't even have any vulnerabilities. He doesn't have a base. He's in amazing shape.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, you simply cannot go up the side here. There are spikes. This reminds me of the Blades Edge Mountains in World of Warcraft. They look exactly like that. They probably nicked the assets directly. You can't go up there. It's really as simple as that. There were, like, dragons stuck on those things, so, God, if dragons can't manage it, you certainly can't. Drunken Boy now has the tech advantage. He's got himself a medevac.
Yeah, this is going to be annoying, but that stim is coming out quite swiftly. Neeb is positioning himself... Wow, what an unusual opening from Neeb. Triple barracks very early. Yep. This is a sort of power-up build. He wants to get a really powerful strike at around 10 or 11 minutes. He's got to start his factory within the next minute or so, but he still hasn't even gotten his extra gas. So I guess it will be an 11-minute big push timing, but he's going to have a ton of basic infantry.
That he certainly is, and they've got bayonets and everything, so that's good. You know, I appreciate that. Even though he's an American player, he's very much going for the British attitude. If you can't shoot him, stick him with a bayonet and scream very loudly. Drunken Boy is now going to try and make his way in here. With the Hellions elevated, he could make a go of it.
Uh-oh, this is not that good. He doesn't have stim. He's a few seconds away from stim. Oh, gosh, it looks like Drunken Boy is in an amazing angle. All the SCVs get pulled. Neeb with a bold bio-based play, inches away from getting stim. Maybe we should have wished he had combat shield first. Drunken Boy picking off all the SCVs. I mean, oh, God, just tumbling down in the SCV count. But it looks like Neeb is actually going to stay alive.
Yeah, the cool thing about his build is that he actually went for the triple CC. So even if he loses all of this, he's actually alright. I mean, Drunken Boy had to do damage, but he had to do a lot of it. Hey, think about it for a second. His third CC has only just started. This CC that's going down here isn't even an orbital. He's not been mining from his natural at all. So, yeah, okay, Neeb lost 16 workers. That's kind of a big deal. But he's building 3 up at a time, and he has triple mule.
Yeah, this is actually a reasonable position for Neeb to be in. Still looks like he's going to be preparing to go for some sort of 11-minute timing, assuming he starts combat shield, like, literally right now. Oh, hey, look at that.
Man.
Part of me wants to take credit and say, oh, yes, I'm such an amazing strategist, but it would be pretty awful if he went for bio and then just didn't get combat shield, so, well, I can only give myself so much credit.
Yep.
But Neeb, building himself up, quite a lot of SCVs, already tied back up in the SCV count. Drunken Boy, based upon his build, must rely on a tank-based play. He has only 1 barracks. He's gone far away down the tech path. And what kind of drop is this, Drunken Boy? This is wild aggression. This is insane. No one would do this follow-up drop.
This is really odd. Like, going for the 2 siege tanks right in the corner there. He's going to siege up against this third base because it's just going to lift and move out of the way. Now, Neeb should have enough units to clean this up, really, but he's got to be careful about the angle that he engages at here. Oh, he's actually out of tank range. The SCVs aren't, though. Got to watch out for that.
Neeb's got to be careful. He has to split. He needs to get right up in there. No, shoot down the medevac.
Not going to happen by the looks of it. Now the tanks are going to get out of there. That's unfortunate. If Neeb had been able to catch the tanks and it just kill the medevac so the tanks couldn't get out, then that would have been excellent. Although, if I was going to say, is Drunken Boy asleep? No, he's not. He's right there. He's almost taunting his opponent, and that was yet more damage inflicted. 21 workers killed now. Neeb is still in the lead because, again, triple orbital is pretty good, right?
It's certainly helping him quite a bit. I mean, in this position, look at this. Everything that Neeb would normally want done is now done. He has the medevacs popping out. He has his Marines. He has the Devil upgrade. This 11-minute push is really the big thing that he needs to be going for, but he can't because he's just lost so many Marines in addition to those SCVs. I really feel like it's the Marine count being low that's hurting Neeb in this spot.
Yeah, his army supply is not looking good at all. That big push that you were talking about can't really come if you lose half your army. And if it does, it's absolute suicide. Drunken Boy with 4 tanks on his natural, there's no way. So this is going to end up being, I think, it's going to have to be drop-focused here by Neeb. He does have that nice little upgrade advantage. There's no stim for Drunken Boy. So if Drunken Boy commits his defense to the front, a rear drop with Marines could be damaging. Drunken Boy's actually rolling out now.
Wow, Drunken Boy with just attack timing after attack timing. This is a very smart attack timing. This is the time when Neeb is the one who really needs to be doing the containment. Neeb needs to hold those tanks back as long as possible. This drop looks like it will be able to do some damage, but I don't know if it will be able to do a lot of damage, which is what it desperately needs to do. Oh no, losing the medevac as well.
Yeah, that was definitely a misstep there. He had to have that medevac in hold position. There was no way that was going to work otherwise. Scans go down on both sides. The engagement comes in. It's tank versus no tank. And yes, stim is helpful, but we'd have to see some godlike splitting to make that work. Overall damage that was done was 9 workers. It's good. It puts Neeb really ahead in that regard, but he has to live through this for that to even matter.
I don't even know if he can. Is stim done? Combat shield? No, combat shield's almost done for Drunken Boy. SCVs, most importantly, are not mining. The tank is about to pop out. +1, it looks like, is done for Neeb. This 1 tank is going to be a godsend. It may very well delay the push just long enough. I mean, it doesn't look like there's really any big long-term plans for Drunken Boy. Drunken Boy's still playing catch-up from how he stilted himself in the early game.
Ooh, Drunken Boy is not quite in firing range there. Scan goes down on both sides. Now he's in firing range. He is able to get off a good shot. Doesn't kill anything with it, but that medevac energy is certainly going down. And they'll be using their medevacs just to scout to see what's going on here. This used to be Vikings, but not anymore. In the day of the speed medevac, you can adequately use that to work just fine. And now he is contained. Neeb is heavily contained. He is about to be... He's has +1, that helps, but, you know, against tanks, not really all that much. He takes another big hit. This is rough, man. This is going to be a slow crawl here by Drunken Boy, I think.
I mean, Neeb does have a little bit of momentum on his side. He almost has +1 weapons, +1 armor, and +2 is on the way.
Yeah.
He will be forced to retreat back, and he's in a very uncomfortable position. Here's the big drop. What a great play by Neeb. Look at that identification, seeing the weakness. Drunken Boy losing all the tanks in an instant.
Nice.
Oh my god, what an amazing play there by Neeb.
That was beautiful. It really, really was. He did lose his CC, which is unfortunate. Drunken Boy gets the pick off there on the command center, which is nice, but the container is effectively broken now. There are only 3 tanks left on the map. We've still got a Marine lead for Drunken Boy, but fighting up a ramp against tank's position, I don't think it's going to work out so well. But Neeb's SCV advantage is gone. You know, it's not working in his favor anymore because Drunken Boy's just taken his 3rd and now has an SCV lead.
Yeah, it's a more classical disadvantage that we see Neeb in, but his opponent has 1-0. Neeb has 1-1 and +1 on the tanks, almost at +2. So there's a small window where Neeb can do a lot of damage. He has far more medevacs than he'll ever need.
That's very, very true. We need to maybe see a little bit more of that drop play. I do like Marauder drops behind tank lines if you can get them there without being shot to pieces by the Marines. The cool thing about those Marauder drops is rather than dropping 8 Marines, dropping 4 Marauders actually takes half the time. So you get those tank busters out much, much quicker, and that means the medevac can move out of position before it gets sniped by the Marines. The big push, Neeb is looking to try and flank here. Now this is spotted by Drunken Boy, but Drunken Boy could get sandwiched. He may have to pick up and leave.
This is a kind of dicey situation with these units coming in from the backside. Oh no, Neeb's about to surround himself. He needs to get those medevacs out of there. This is actually going to go great for Neeb if he controls it properly. He needs to run those down south, siege those up, and it looks like Neeb, after a lot of battling, has secured himself his own 3rd.
Nice. Well maneuvered there by Neeb, I've got to say. I think he could have boosted out a little bit quicker there, and he takes out a medevac there as well, which is really, really nice to see. But yeah, he has secured that base, which is good. Unfortunately for him, Drunken Boy has secured his, and secured it way before, even though that earlier triple command center did definitely help Neeb stay in the game. It is as equal as it could be. It's actually 6,600 resources lost. Oh, yeah, they're going to change that now, but it was completely equal.
Oh, Drunken Boy suffering a really big loss. I mean, Neeb was in a very, very difficult position and just has wormed his way out beautifully with those counter drops. Drunken Boy, though, is starting to really get his macro up. He has 3 more barracks. He's getting up to that critical 8 barracks amount. What is his opponent at? Only 5. 5 is sort of normal for 2 base, going on to 3 base play, but right now Neeb is really going to be kicking into high gear. Drunken Boy doing what I would describe as a very risky drop.
Yeah. Committing all of that to the middle with all of that production going on. Neeb knows it's there, and yeah, okay, he'll do a little bit of damage, but the thing is that area's mined out, and here comes the engagement right now. Neeb trying to push forward, but runs right into a choke.
Oh my gosh, I mean, the drop was defended, but in the middle of the map, Neeb took just gigantic losses.
He very much did. He very much did. Now, definitely a lot of SCV damage being done there, no question. Neeb is certainly behind in workers, but he should be able to catch that up fairly quickly if he builds any. He's currently building nothing but units right now. So Drunken Boy with the economic lead, Drunken Boy with the larger army right now. Upgrades lead does go to Neeb, but will that make enough difference to pull him back here? He is... You know, he's about 15 supply behind here, so this is difficult. And also engaging, or even just dropping Drunken Boy with those 2 sensor towers is going to be nigh on impossible.
At the same time, this is the matchup where you maximize comeback potential by having your army together. You just try to make sure that, you know, if Drunken Boy misreads or misunderstands what's going on in this army situation, everything can change with a couple of tank blasts and a couple of good positions. And the best way to leverage that is those upgrades. Drunken Boy ahead, clear lead. Neeb can get in a good position. Look at this nice tank placement by Neeb.
Yeah,
just annihilating that 1 tank for free.
Ooh, freebies. Yeah, Drunken Boy's not responding to that, actually. Loses a good number of Marines he didn't have to. I think he's more focused on trying to... He's wheeling himself around the back.
Very, very odd weak play. This is going to... Oh my gosh, and look at this Neeb punishing the lack of units here. And then it looks like, wow, Drunken Boy's going to walk up the ramp, get shut down there. Neeb, in a matter of seconds, looks like he has equalized a lot of the positioning. Loses most of his Marines there, deals with this push at the front, and right now it looks like Neeb, even though he's a little bit behind on the Marine count, is ahead in the tank count.
Yeah, he's also got that upgrade lead. He's about to have +3. His opponent's kicking in with +2/+2 here, which is always nice to see. But yeah, he will have that +3. And Marines with +3 are just absolutely ridiculous. They're incredibly good units. They're that 50% damage boost versus their base stats. Absolutely wonderful. and this is looking pretty decent for Neeb. I don't like the fact that he's spending a lot of time with his SCVs off the mining line, but he's getting to it. He, I think, needs to build more SCVs as well. He's only on 39. Yeah, it's nice that he's got 3 mules, but I would like to see more from him. That's going to stunt his growth just a little bit going forward.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give credit to Drunken Boy, who's done one sort of peculiar attack that cost him a lot of free Marines, but for the most part, these attacks have just been really brilliant. You don't see them a lot. Well, that's because Neeb's opening was very unusual. So an unusual but correct response is what we saw come out of Drunken Boy. Neeb, once again, he's the backup. He's sieging up late, but he is getting a good angle on a lot of those Marines, but it looks like there's just a few too many units picking off the tanks. Neeb has just suddenly lost a lot of his momentum.
Yeah, the positioning on his tanks wasn't very good. They were too close to the edge of the cliff, which means they were in range of the Marines just to absolutely obliterate them. So that did not work out well at all. Now Neeb is most assuredly behind in pretty much every aspect aside from upgrades, which is not going to make enough of a difference, I think, to make this work. Neeb can't really drop, so his opponent continues to just steam away with his economy and takes another tank shelling there as well. Things are getting uglier and uglier here. That's a great concave for Drunken Boy. All of those units just run into... Man, they charged down into the caverns of hell themselves and just got obliterated. Drunken Boy now doubles the supply of his opponent. And a drop into the main base.
Gosh, I mean, Drunken Boy, he knows how to attack, man. I mean, even though there's a lot of these attacks that you might question, there comes a point where if he sees his opponent has weakness, he knows exactly how and when to press it. And look at Drunken Boy. I mean, this is one of the fastest tank pushes I have seen. This is just blitzed to the front, all the way back from his main. Hollows out the center, just ice cream scooped out of command center.
It's 9 tanks to 1, man. There's I don't see a way of Neeb getting out of this. He would have to pull some kind of ridiculous wizardry, and I don't think he's got it in him right now.
Yeah, I mean, Neeb held on as long as he could, but, you know, if you're riding the bucking bronco for like 20, 30 minutes, eventually you just gotta let go, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, Drunken Boy just kicking him every which way.
Yeah, he's relentless.
I mean, I wish there was a number of attacks committed graph.
Yeah.
Or you know, like what they do in soccer, where they show like what percentage of the time it's been on your half of the field. Because right now, Neeb has just been a defender this whole game. Some great flair, but now once again, Drunken Boy in an attacker's position.
Man, that shelling was brutal. It really was. Neeb's Marines just getting blown to smithereens right now. And yeah, I think his medevac, yeah, he does have a slight medevac advantage. That's pretty much all he's got here. And that +3 has now kicked in, so Neeb only has a very slight upgrade lead and doesn't actually have any tanks to exploit it with. Neeb drops on top of the tanks. Really nice use of his units there. But still, it's still 8 to 1. He's still heavily contained, is continuing to run into positions where he just cannot engage. He smashes his way through. He's going to take 1 tank. A second tank comes down as well. That's really nice, but here come the reinforcements. And there's the GG. Neeb realizes, of course, there's no way out of this whatsoever. And that is it. Drunken Boy takes a 2-0 victory over his teammate and will move on to face Gosu User, and we may very well see those famous one-base plays be broken out.
I mean, it's kind of funny that Drunken Boy identified himself as like, oh yeah, no, I tend to do it more against Zerg because it was a harder matchup and I transferred it over, but God, we got to see the exact same level of aggression that I enjoyed watching him do in the WCS. I mean, with the crazy one-base aggro drop play, and then in this game, honestly, a very normal build. One that people would describe as somewhat of a conservative build, especially going for Marine tank follow-ups. But wow, Drunken Boy always finding an opportunity to attack at every phase. Only rarely did it seem like they were going to go poorly. And the rest of the time, he was just shoving Neeb way back. I mean, you just can never discount the power of being in a good positioning in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and we saw some pretty poor positioning from Neeb, unfortunately. I think that losing those 4 tanks on the edge of that cliff was really the thing that basically caused his army to rout at that stage. Losing those meant that he just didn't have that linchpin in the center of the map that would have actually allowed him to put the pressure on. And then, for the rest of the game, he never crossed the map. Like, at that point, he lost his ability to do that. So he was on the defensive, taking punch after punch after punch, and it was really only a matter of time at that stage, I think.
Yeah, it was actually pretty amazing to see Neeb's ability to sort of figure out the solution to this containment puzzle he had at the start, but at the end of the day, a lot of units beats not a lot of units, and Drunken Boy with the 9 to 1 tank lead with the 50 to 20 Marine lead was too much. I am thrilled that Drunken Boy will be going up against Ghost User. That is going to be a stunning series.
Yeah, I can't see this series being anything less than volatile and eventful. Lord knows if it'll be any good, but there's something is going to happen, and we're going to be there to see it. And that is all I need from this series. So, we'll be going to a quick break, folks, while we set up our next face-off interview. Will Drunken Boy be able to deal with the trash talk of Ghost User? I think that's perhaps the most important thing. We will find out right after this break.